Well, the one benefit that console has right now over PC, at least one of them, is HDR. HDR is a pain in the ass on PC, and it doesn't look as good. And something that really pisses me off, like I have an RTX 2080 graphics card, right? Which was, for the time, near top of the line as far as NVIDIA goes. Like, only the 2080 Ti was higher. But the stupid bastards only put an HDMI 1.4 port on there, so I can't get 10-bit color, which means I can't get HDR on HDMI. And it's like, HDMI 2.0 ports existed when the 2080 was produced, so I don't know why... Like, who the fuck is gonna use a DisplayPort cable in the year of our Lord 2022, you know?
There's 8 billion people on the planet. There's one.
Well, sure. It was a rhetorical question.
I got you.
Now we're done.
I did not chimney that coming.
Oh man, better watch out. This playthrough's going off the rails.
What a crate playthrough.
You gotta train yourself, man.
The commentary's been very stop and go.
Cole one.
Damn.
This is quite the lantern of events.
I got nothing.
Well, you know, we just like to switch things up.
God damn it, I was like 2 seconds away from making the fucking
I'm just
joke.
pisting them away.
Look at you go, man. I'm proud of you.
That's a level in fucking Pac-Man world. That doesn't count.
Oh! Well, I'm disowning you.
You're disowned from the family.
Exo,
Anyway.
I've been meaning to ask, why...
I have a feeling I know where this is going.
Oh, you know exactly where it's going.
Yeah,
Star
lay
Fox
on me.
Adventures, huh? That's been on the
Yes.
mind?
I just think the warp stone is hilarious.
Yeah?
A lovely sweetie.
Wow, I just developed a Minnesotan accent there for a second. Wow. The warp stone. Oh, this guy looks really cool in this version. Like they added like a metal shader.
Biscarsh?
Yes. Like they added like a metal shader to his textures or materials. I don't remember that being on the PS2. But again, it's been a while.
This is probably my favorite boss, but not the fight itself. Just the what happens after this boss stuck with me as a kid too. There's a lot of things that stuck with me that were like really fucking cool.
I just realized this room is probably for like the Vulcan Council. Like the government, their parliament. And it's like you're
Currently
having
not in session because of the fucking war.
Yeah, exactly. That's like a little detail I never noticed before. And they also have like a giant reactor in their council chamber. The demon has infiltrated the council chamber?
Are these jokes getting tired?
Well, I love doing this taunt.
Wow! Sounds exactly like that.
She's got a red Chaos Emerald.
Oh my god, she just rang the bell. Which is a surprise, because if you recall the scene earlier, folks, the High Priestess told us that only a priestess has the power to ring the bell.
So she's a priestess. She's got to summon materia.
Pickings.
She's going to summon Ifrit.
You know, Jeb's video made me realize just how bad the 7 remake was. Just like conceptually.
I wasn't a fan. I mean, well, I liked his video, of course. But the remake, nah, I was not a fan. That's okay.
And Dan's probably steaming right now because he loves that game.
No, that's alright. I just like dumb shit, clearly.
I don't think that's what anyone's saying. Like, you're welcome
I
to
just
make
meant that as a joke. I'm not saying anybody's saying that. I'm saying, like, I'm into Kingdom Hearts and shit, so clearly I like dumb shit.
That reminds me, earlier you said something about this game having, like, a straightforward story that a kid can enjoy, but there's depth for an adult.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, usually the reason you tell me you like Kingdom Hearts is because of, like, the emotion and, like, the deeper themes and stuff. But I think the difference between this and Kingdom Hearts is that there isn't that straightforward, grounded plot that kind of, like, keeps you in the moment, if that makes sense. It lacks
yeah? I guess, yeah.
where it's, like, kind of confusing and hard to follow. Like, the good stuff is there, but you kind of have to understand what's really happening before you can appreciate the good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I guess as it went on, yeah. Certainly. Although, I don't know, like, in terms of, like, 2, I enjoyed that just fine as a kid, so I don't know.
Well, like I said, when I first played it, I was just like, wait, what's this business with not being able to say photo? That's like the very first thing that happens. Then it turns out Roxas is in a simulation for a reason that, like, you don't really learn why he's in there until much later. Well, I guess what's-her-face, Naminé, kind of tells you. Sort of. Ugh.
I just don't know if I have the energy to care about stuff like that.
I mean, fair.
It's not what I look for and shit like that. I guess it's different values. That's why I like stuff like that.
Well, it's also,
But it
like...
clearly conflicts with a lot of other people's perspectives.
I think also in the case of Kingdom Hearts 2, it's just like, there's a lot of like nonsense that happens, but it's doing it 100% straight, you know? Where it's like, it's genuine and the characters are taking the situation seriously, so therefore you take the situation seriously and they're characters that you care about.
And that's why I like Kingdom Hearts 3.
I mean, I will say, Kingdom Hearts 2 confused me the first time I played it, but I got it the second time. Whereas, some of the later entries... like, it is one of those things where it got worse as it went along. Like, Kingdom Hearts 2 is definitely much more grounded and easier to follow in terms of the plot than the later entries, so I will give you that.
And you know what's fun for me is that, like, the more I sit and think about it, the more I realize that I just don't think I'm a fan of Kingdom Hearts anymore. Like, there's always 2, which is the one I come back to, and I enjoyed the gameplay for the most part of Dream Drop. But then I went back to 1, and, you know, the story's fine, but I thought the gameplay was clunky. Chain of Memory speaks for itself, both PS2
the
and
worst game of
GBA.
all time.
You know? I think Dream Drop is boring, and Coded is whack, and Birth by Sleep is... I don't know, it's like I realized that, like, the only game I like as a whole is 2. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
That was kind of a sobering moment. I'm like, I thought I was like a fan, but I guess I'm not. I don't know.
Well, 4 could change your mind. You never know.
Not interested.
It was the game that, what's his name? Nomura actually wanted to make all this time, so...
That I just straight up don't agree with.
Well,
I know what people are saying when they say that, but I think that that's, like, a little disingenuous.
We can agree that Versus 13 was a project that he found really inspiring, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something that he really
He
wanted
certainly
to work
wanted
on.
to make it, but when people say that, they say he wanted to make that instead of KH3, and I just think that's weird. Because he obviously loves Kingdom Hearts.
Well, I read it as more like... especially as a creator, and I think all 3 of us can agree to this since we've done videos and stuff. Like, things that inspired and held your attention for certain periods of time, like your interests as a creator change and you want to do different things.
Yeah.
Which is a problem on YouTube because people want the same thing over and over again. I think that's maybe more where Nomura was at, where it's like, oh, I get to do something really cool and different with this Versus 13 game, but now they want me to make Kingdom Hearts 3.
We can't know that, though.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
I think
You can't read
it
his
just
mind.
seems like, it's like, I really don't want to paint that kind of perspective in a bad light. People are free to think that. I just think it's a lot of people were really disappointed with the game and they want to find out some reason why they think it's bad, and I don't like that.
Well, I also think some of it comes from the fact that Nomura was let go from 13 or Versus 13. You know,
That's true, yeah.
it's like he had that project taken away from him. It's not like, oh, I don't want to do this, and it's like, no, it's like he wanted to do it, but it was taken away from him.
Yeah.
And then it was changed to be
But
something that he didn't
and then stuff like that, though, is like, it says nothing about his passion for Kingdom Hearts, because that was an entirely separate project.
I mean, like, I know I said, I feel like I mentioned this on the Sonic Adventure playthrough at some point, but, like, I know I said at the end of the Kingdom Hearts 3 podcast that I wanted to get off the ride. But after seeing that trailer for 4, I'm like, this looks so weird and different that I kind of want to play it.
I'm just tired of the bullshit. Especially, like, with 3, where it's like, oh, you want answers to the plot-relevant stuff? Well, I mean, you want to know what's in that box, right? You want to know what's in the box? It's like, no, I would like a satisfying conclusion. Yeah, but the box and
The
the
box
foretellers.
that they introduced, like, a game ago?
Yeah!
But those were not the questions that were pertinent to what was being answered at the time, like the let's save fucking Aqua and shit.
Yes.
I guess. I don't know. And then they're also talking about, like, Project X and, like, this mystery
Oh,
girl
yeah.
and stuff like that. I don't know. It just felt like the majority of the game was set up, and it didn't really feel like as if the game had a good payoff.
The majority?
Yeah.
Man, I don't know. I think that's just whack.
I do think there was a pacing problem. Where it's like,
Certainly, I think Kingdom Hearts has always struggled with pacing a lot.
where it's like, I want to say like the first 2/3 of the game are just setting up Sora getting to the realm of darkness so he can help Aqua free herself from being possessed by darkness or whatever was going on. Which was a good emotional moment. Like, I want to say I rewatched some of the cutscenes from that game for whatever reason. And the stuff where Aqua gets freed and returns to the realm of light, like she opens her eyes and she's like, oh my god, this nightmare I've been living for 10 years is finally over. Like, that scene worked. It's kind of like, what was the point of the Big Hero 6 world? I guess to introduce the fact that Riku Replica is
What
still
was the
alive.
point of any Disney World at that rate?
I mean, like, some of them have more of a point than others, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It's like, the whole point of him going to those worlds was the power of waking or something. Wasn't that it?
You had to find the power of waking, yeah.
Which is something he guess he just had when the plot demanded it.
Something he always had.
Yeah. Well, this is another thing where I'm like, that reason has always been pretty tenuous, even after 1. Like, in 2, it's like, yeah, I'm looking for Kairi and Riku, and to do that, I'm just gonna go fly around in space.
Well, at least in 1, there were, like, the keyholes and stuff. Like, he was preventing the worlds from collapsing.
Same in 2. 2 had something similar.
Well, the keyholes in that game were more about opening routes to other worlds,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. To go look for Riku and Kairi by flying randomly through
Yes.
space. You know what I
That-
mean? Like,
in
I
the
don't
second
think it's
game, that is
ever
true.
really been that clear since KH1. Maybe Dream Drop?
Dream Drop had, like, the thing where it's like, these are, what were they, the waking worlds?
Sleeping worlds, yeah.
And in order to wake them, he finds the keyhole and unlocks them. That's his mark of mastery. So, like, a couple different... It's not until the end that it gets stupid.
Well, and that's, like, just another reason I never vibed with those kinds of criticisms. I just don't get it.
I like how we're talking about Kingdom Hearts instead of the Klonoa game.
Oh! Oh shit! Klonoa's fucking dead!
Biskarsh is like a Resident Evil 6 boss. It just doesn't fucking die.
I wouldn't know.
Resident Evil 6 is like if every boss was Nemesis. Like, you fight them, each of them, like 16 times, and it gets really old after a while. Speaking of Birth by Sleep. Because Birth by Sleep and Resident Evil 6 and Sonic 06 all have the same structure. You have, like, the 3 campaigns that crisscross, and then at the end, there's, like, a 4th one.
EXO, do you like Resident Evil 6?
It's okay. I don't hate it. I am gonna say, though, and you guys are gonna hate me for this, I think it's a better game than Sonic Adventure, Sonic 06, and Birth by Sleep.
I've never played Resident Evil 6, so I don't know.
It could be goated.
I have no opinion.
Nor do I.
I mean, like, it's one of those things. I was arguing with Ethan and Alonzo about this, because Alonzo was like, Mikey, why are you playing RE6? And I'm just like, well, I'm playing them in order, and RE6 happened to be next, that's why. And he's just like, oh, RE6 is the worst game ever. And then I'm just like, well, core gameplay-wise, there's not a lot of difference between this and RE5. And he's like, how dare you make that comparison, sir? Or it's like...
Well, I get the feeling that 6 is not well-liked by RE fans.
It's not, but it's one of those things where when you play 4, 5, and 6 in a row, like, 6 is the point, like, 4 was already pretty schlocky. That was part of the charm. Then 5 gets even more ridiculous to the point where some of the movies, like the terrible movies, are based directly on cutscenes from 5. That's how bad it is, how schlocky it is. And then when you get to 6, it's kind of like the things that didn't work in the other games are heightened even more and become more Uncharted-like. Or it's like Uncharted 2 with like the fucking train going off the cliff. Like that level of ridiculous. And like I said, there are bosses that just refuse to die that you have to fight 16 times. It's like that game has problems, but most of it stems from the structure. Like, much like Sonic 06, everything that sucks about the structure in Sonic 06 also sucks in RE6. Where you fight the same bosses and do some of the same things over and over. What I think makes RE6 slightly better is that there's less overlapping between campaigns. So for the most part, they can be their own thing, but Chris Redfield's campaign is just terrible. Anyways, we're talking about the Ark in this Klonoa game.
Oh, we're talking about Sonic Adventure 2 now?
Sort of. The Ark is... What Boguji is telling us is that once upon a time, the world of Lunatea was more interconnected, and the Ark was a form of transport between the 4 kingdoms. But the Ark has fallen into disrepair and may not even exist anymore. And we're going to try to use the Ark to get to Mira Mira, which is the Kingdom of Remembrance? I can't remember.
I think it's like... it's not... I don't think it's remembrance, is it? It's like introspection or something. It's not introspection. There's like a word for it. What the fuck is the word? It's discord, joy, tranquility, the unnamed 5th one, and then...
Ugh, I'm gonna have to look this up.
What is it? I should know this. I don't remember. I don't think it's it might be remembrance. You might be right.
I'm looking it up right now. Mira Mira Klonoa. The Kingdom of Indecision.
Indecision.
Which tracks because of what's going to be going on story-wise there. Ooh, what's this? Boguji's getting up. The plot thickens.